Alrighty, so we're moving forward. So I've got the dash back in and the dash skin and the heater box changed to an air conditioning style heater box. So yeah, progress good. Happy with it. Took a few battles, which I'll go through in a moment. That's purely because of the different era. 84s must be just a bit different to the 82, 83s. There's like a few differences here that I'm finding that I've never read about. I mean, this car's an August 84, so it's like literally 1 month before they started doing the XF. So maybe that's why they started using the XF bits in these. I don't know, but whatever. I'll go through that. So anyway, so other than the heater box differences, the job was quite good. It's just hard on your own doing this stuff, to be honest, when you sort of need one person on each end of the dash, but it's all achievable. It's just you just got to line the old machine there and work it from one end to the other. So those big fat red wires, these are the air conditioning wires that I'm running through. So that'll connect up to the stuff inside the heater box as per the book's wiring diagram. I didn't have the special plug. If you can find, if you do that job, if you find a plug like that, you can just plug straight into the back of the box, which there's a plug just behind that bit there, in that center bit. This plug sits there and does nothing unless you've got aircon. So I couldn't find a plug to fit that. So if you could just plug straight into that, then you can go to your aircon switch without adding any wiring. And away you go. So it's a bit of a bloody nuisance, but I didn't know that. But anyway, so I've just run 3 wires. They'll just go to the aircon switch and the power. So that's fine. So that middle bit I've left out because I've got to run auxiliary power. I've got to put the clock in. I've got to run power to the CBs again, and get the standard tape deck in with the Bluetooth switch. So I've got a little dodgy old Chinese Bluetooth setup over there, so it's just going to be a switch next to the dash. You switch between radio and Bluetooth, so that way it'll be easy and hidden, of course, too, so you won't even see it. So anyway, yeah, everything pretty good. Like, it's just time, nothing more than time. Working out the vacuum lines as well, because the aircon ones have different setup to the non-aircon vacuum lines, how the recirculation works and all that. And also I had to do some repairs on the little Plentium chamber part, the bit behind here, that flap. The flap wouldn't work. So, and the other thing, then I realised that the heater box was different. So I'll just quickly talk to this first. Anyway, so yeah, so just don't forget the. Oh, damn it! Hang on. One thing to remember when you do this job, you have access to that stuff under the dash. So don't forget that. Disconnecting these bits. I didn't actually realise when I was doing it that all this is accessible because I didn't look under here. So you got the little lever. That's right sitting there. Hoses, vacuum lines, bloody power supply. You got everything sitting there. So don't forget to, you can disconnect and play around with it and muck around with it right there. So yeah, just a little learning on that one. That was for bloody sure because I did not realise, and I spent ages reaching behind the bloody dash, mucking around with these things, trying to connect them up. I was rather annoyed when I just put it all together and looked under here and went, oh, you're kidding. So I've also run a spare vacuum line. That's just in case any one of these things play up. I've got a standard vacuum line I can just plug straight into the box, this thing here, and I can just run it manually straight from vacuum. The main one I want to make sure I've got a spare for is the recirculation. So on the recirc, the amount of fresh air is ginormous. Like, you know, on modern cars you have recirculation, you press the button, it shuts the flap and all that. But if you don't turn the vent in these things to bloody closed, the fresh air ducts are like 30 centimetres, or maybe 25 centimetres by 10 centimetres. So the amount of fresh air coming in from both sides is insane. So you wonder why these air cons never work properly. So I've made sure these work, I've made sure the flap works, and make sure that I'm going to be able to put it on vent and it's just going to stay on recirculation. So instead of sucking air from up here out in the plenum chamber outside, it sucks air from underneath the footwell, so it recirculates on both sides. So I've made sure I've got a backup plan in case any of those actuators, vacuum actuators, give grief. The other thing, when you're doing this dash, make sure that this steering wheel, when you put the dash in, the steering wheel sits to one side and it gets bloody caught as you're putting the dash back in. So I thought I had something wrong for a while, and then I just went like that, and then suddenly the dash just went bush. She just went home. So yeah. So anyway, that's pretty well where we're at. So you just, like I said, just be careful with these things down here. You know, and also the fuse box. Make sure you do any repairs to the fuse box in there. Mainly because they're prone to breaking. So that thing in there. Other than that, it's all right. It's all right. It's just hard on your own. So I've replaced all the insulation with all the steel, all the modern stuff. So I've gone all the way back, all the way along, all modern, all the way down on this side of the firewall. So that's that shiny stuff all the way through. That is all the way through behind that whole system now. So anyway, so let's go through the differences. Right. So 84s, the screws that go here go in this dash skin. Different. Whatever this dash skin's off, the screws don't line up in there. Minor thing, but it's a bloody nuisance because, of course, trying to drill, it's a bloody nuisance. So, right, vacuum lines are a little bit different. Not much, but just have a look at the drawing, because there's a drawing in the manual. Yeah, there's a picture in the manual of all the vacuum lines, and it explains it very well. The only confusion is the green and the white. So you'll see a green and white vacuum lines. So you just, basically the green becomes obsolete. And then you just have the white to operate the duct. So basically green and white become one, but green is just basically pointless running it, because there's no need. But of course, if you've got the two vents, non-aircon car, you do want fresh air, yada yada. So because that fresh air means something when you've got no aircon. It could be colder outside, it could be warmer, depending on the day. The other thing, these are different. The XE84s run a plastic setup in there. And so, yeah, different actuator setup, and yeah, you got different wiring. So this is obviously the non-aircon, so these two normally are together for the aircon cars. So you can see it's plastic in here. So yeah, it's a plastic vent, so which is a bit of a spin out. But on this side it's plastic, but on the other side it's metal. So it's really weird. So obviously they started using bits on the XF. I don't know. The other thing is, some heater boxes must use the plastic, and they use these little tabs there. And some use the metal, like here. This one's got the tabs, but it's a metal. It run a metal one. So spin out. Very strange. So when you do change the aircon, it's easy. All the plugs are already there on the aircon one. So this is the non-aircon one. You can see plugs are there, but it's missing the thermostat setup. So when you buy the aircon one, it's already there. All the plugs are there, and also all the plugs are already under there. You're already there. You don't need to do anything. You just find the plug and plug them in. They all match. So aircon, non-aircon, pretty easy. Now, the biggest bloody thing was a freaking nuisance because I did not realise at the time when, obviously it's an 84 thing again. Have a look at the heaters. So I'll go vertical. So there's the fan, and there's the two heaters. Right? They are straight up and down. When you go to a maybe non-84 or something, you look at the heaters. Oh, well, it doesn't matter which way, but anyway, so there's the fan, and look at that. They're side to side. They're top of each other. So yeah, be wary when you buy these bloody things. Just check what your car is, whether they're straight up and down or basically on top of each other. I don't know when they started doing that. Wouldn't have a bloody clue. But when you convert that to the engine bay, basically it sits there like that. Two hoses poke out. But when you put it, they're the ones I've had to drill new holes in, and they're the replacements. So, yep, I guess if you do have them like that, try and find an aircon box with that bloody stuff, with it, two of them side by side to save you drilling two holes. Mind you, it's very thin, just a 20mm bloody bit, two holes, job done. Not difficult, and then you just put a plate and a grommet in there. It's fine, and then insulation over the top on both sides. Not difficult, whatever. So again, once your heater box is in, it's easy, just everything's there. You got the normal two vacuum lines, plus I run that spare like I said, and then you got the aircon wire, which will go off to your level switch and then plug into your aircon clutch. So yeah, it's time. It's a fair whack of time. There's no doubt, but you got to look after the stuff as well. You know, like trying to find a good dash skin. You know, that's becoming very difficult to get a really good dash skin these days. Yeah, so just make sure you don't bugger it up or rush it or break anything or crack anything. So these are all been repaired. I've repaired all them, as in the little mounts, they're all repaired. The fuse switches are all repaired. The vents are repaired. So those few bits of broken plastic, I've fixed all them up. So yeah, anyway, I'm babbling again, sorry. So anyway, next job is set up the aircon switch, get the power in, and also finish off the cruise control setup. So I've just got a little bit to do on that. I'll do a separate video on that. So I'll show you how to do the cruise control setup on an FMX and also an XE. So I'll do a separate video just on cruise control when the time comes. I've got some ripper ideas and it's looking really good, very simple. So anyway, that's the job done. So I'm happy with that. That's a good achievement. So I've probably got, I reckon, another probably 4 or 5 hours of mucking around with wiring and blah blah blah, lots of bits and pieces of mucking around, and then another couple of hours to finish off cruise control. So you know, maybe next weekend I should be able to get this thing basically driving. I got to adjust the neutral start switch as well, because that's still not right. It's got nothing to do with the shifter. It's down at the transmission's wrong. I've confirmed that now. So it starts in reverse, and it's not the shifter's fault, because the shifter's in park. And then it won't start, and as soon as you pull it down to reverse, it starts. So the neutral start needs to be adjusted, but there's a little lever down there that's easy to do. So yeah, it's good. So I'll do a vacuum test before I go any further. So that's my first job tomorrow afternoon after work. I'll come and do a starter. I'll start her up and just do a vacuum test on it. I don't think there's anything there to stop it starting. No, it's all just miscellaneous stuff. So I've got the heater valve set up. I've got everything connected here. Transmission connected, everything connected on the vacuum side of things. So, and also my cruise control, but like I said, I'll do that later. So yeah, anyway, it's set up, ready to do a vacuum test tomorrow, but that's another day. No worries, thank you.